Good morning, ma'am. So, ma'am, as an icebreaker, first I would want to ask from my side, being a top woman leader and having so many awards and like you are a CEO, how do you define success or how do we define success?
Thanks, Trehan. Firstly, I'd like to express my pleasure to being here with the young minds and the future leaders of our country. So one big round of applause to each one of you for being a part of such a prestigious institution that comes with a great heritage behind it. Congratulations on that. Talking about success, I'm going to take you to a different era altogether. Almost about, let's say, 25 to 27 years back. My husband is an IIM Lucknow, pass out. And when these guys were 27 years ago, when these guys were graduating out, that was the time they were all chuffed about their placements. And at that time, to get a 3 lakh package or 6 lakhs package was like a big deal. And with the the crown of the IIM badge with them, they were just all floating on cloud nine. So they said, okay, we're going to treat ourselves to a lavish 5-star, because we've kind of made it in life and all of that. And after a while, when they were on their way back, now IIM Lucknow campus, there was a bus that they had to onboard at least about 2 kilometers away from the campus, which would take them into the campus. And while they were waiting there was this ande wale ki redi on the side. And so then comes a sumo, and a Tata Sumo at that time was like a big car, like, so they were all saying, ye kaun hai? Who's this stepping out of the sumo? And then they see that this guy steps out of the sumo and he starts doing something on the ande ki redi. So these guys just, quietly went to the little guy earlier who was kind of doing the stuff on that ready, and he says, "Ye kaun hai? Tata Sumo mein se nikal ke ye ande ki ready pe kya kar raha hai?" Kehta hai, "Sir, aap kya baat kar rahe? Ye hamare saab hain. Ye saal ka 10 lakh kamate hain. Tata Sumo jaisi 10 gaadiyan hain inke paas," and all of that. And there went boom, all their things of graduating out of IIM, a 3 lakh package, and all of that, वो जितना इन लोग ने enjoy करा था वो सारा धरती पे आ गए. Because why I narrated this story of success is because that, as you go forward in life, initially at your stage, even I at that stage would have thought that how well I earn, what monetary and economic benefits I get, probably determine how successful I am. But trust you me, as you go through the journey of life, as you walk through your leadership and managerial journeys, you'll realize that money has a very little role to play. What is important is that you guys, on your own credibility and caliber, have reached an institution which has such a fabulous heritage behind it. So you guys are going to be the privileged one tomorrow to be the torchbearers and handing over the baton of impact and creating impact. And when you create that impact and pay it forward with your expertise, with your knowledge, that, my friends, is the true definition of success. Money follows, and it may sound like a cliche today, but we can have the same conversation 10 years from now. And each one of you will probably look back and say that, yes, you know what? Money followed. Impact is where I need to focus on to be successful in life. Paying it forward and enabling people to attain whatever you can be of contribution to, that's the true essence of success. And that is my mantra of the work that I do. And God has been kind. That's the way international recognition happened. That's the way people like Mr. Mohandas Pai, Abhinav Bindra, Sherry Blair, Gulpanag, and so many joined hands in terms of being with the platform and being champions of the platform. Is purely because there was a very, very pure space of intent to make a difference in people's life, to create an impact. And success and monetary benefits and recognitions and rewards, they just are part of the process that follow. Focus on the impact and the intent. That to me, Shreyash, is success.
So, ma'am, a typical MBA classroom has academic diversity, which brings in varied perspective. But how can we as IPM students try to broaden our perspectives to bring a similar point of view to our classrooms?
I always believe that keep yourselves as an instrument that identifies opportunity in adversity. You know, we've all been caught completely unguarded in the past 20 months of the pandemic. None of us could ever visualize that there are going to be no more physical classrooms, at least for the past 20 months. Everything is going to pivot online, and we're going to enter this whole digital world of interacting with people and all of that. While I love that quote by Oscar Wilde, which says that two men look out of the window, one sees sand, the other sees the stars. What you've got to tune yourself, condition yourself, is to identify the positive, the opportunity in times which may not be boxed, which may be out of the regular comfort zone. But trust you me, that's where evolution happens. And now, talking about diversity, that you would have actually interacted with so many people in the classroom. Yes, I'm a big champion of saying that there's nothing that can beat the human connect, the one-on-one offline connect. But till we have the digital connect, one is we should consider ourselves privileged that even in times where everything else almost came to a standstill, the education industry and the academic never stopped. There was a pivot online that's happened, and be the champion of embracing that pivot. And trust you me, there is so much of diversity still that you, if you look out for, can get by ensuring that you stay in touch with people, that you connect with people of the classes as well, of the curriculums as well. Because, you would, as you go forward in your leadership journey, you'll realize everybody's going to talk about network. And trust you me, we're in a digital Amazon of network when it comes to LinkedIn or the online world. How do you sift things and create connections that automatically translate to them being the inner circle of your network? But these are going to be the people who will actually come handy rather than mere numbers and followers on your profiles, or you being an influencer or whatever. So make sure that you leverage the opportunity that the digital world has thrown on you. And you guys are here for a long haul. It's not that you guys are graduating tomorrow. You've got a couple of years in hand, and let's all together give some time to just bounce back into the classroom and actually use this period before bouncing back into the classroom. Make sure you leverage the best of digital. So in no way should you consider yourself less privileged than an offline scenario or less fortunate than an offline scenario. You should probably consider yourself far more privileged because you're going to be getting the best of both worlds, right? So definitely this pivot online is going to help you, because digital is the future. And while digital being the future, you will still have certain points of connect, certain moments of truth where you can leverage once things settle down, and offline connect as well. So you're probably the more privileged batch than just a regular offline or just an all-in-all online batch.
Yes, ma'am, surely. Ma'am, as you talked about the online and offline mode, talking about our EMBA batch, how will you advise us to make the most out of the EMBA program and bridge the gap caused by the online mode of education, as you put it?
One thing is, when we talk about the online gap, there is one big gap, that of in-person human connect. So how to bridge that gap is going to be, as I said, once things settle down, you guys as the alumni of IIM Jammu should ensure that certain interactions happen in an offline manner, where maybe in smaller groups, smaller batches or whatever, you guys come together, exchange notes, interact with your faculty and all of that. But in that time, let me tell you the advantage of the EMBA. Resources are just a click away. Your researchers are going to be just a click away. You're going to be doing a lot of things from the comfort of your home. So a lot of your logistics, a lot of your travel, a lot of your on the road time spent can be productively channelized to resources that are available through just the click of a button. So it's more how and what perspective do you bring to what you're enrolled into, rather than going into a complaint mode and saying that maybe we don't have this, or maybe we've lost out on that. So bridging the gap, yes, keep your eyes and ears and your antennas high up. The moment you get time to interact on a human level, do that. But in the interim, ensure that you do leverage the digital world to its best, because almost everything and so much of knowledge, in fact, there's a bombardment of resources available just at the click of the mouse, and leverage that.
Ma'am, talking about the online world, the pandemic has proved that adaptability is an essential skill, like which managers and employees must have. But what, according to you, what skills should we develop to ensure that we be, well-rounded managers in future as
See, adaptability is definitely high, right? Because it's the pandemic today. It could be, God forbid, but it could just be a digital virus tomorrow, right? What if all our screens get frozen? What if all our resources get frozen? Are we just going to put our hands up and say, okay, now it's the end? Or are we going to kind of think innovatively and see how could we then look at sustainability and yet be progress oriented, even if we don't, kind of completely get dependable on the resources that we have. So adaptability, definitely. And I come from an armed forces background. We were changing cities every 18 months to 3 years. The hindsight of that was that, yes, I can't call anybody like my chutney buddy from childhood, because, and we didn't have social media at that time. So connectivity with all those people whom you interacted has gotten lost out. But look at what all we embraced in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion, culture, people management, change management, time management, discipline, all of those aspects that we talk so much about in a managerial and a leadership world. They were all life skills that one picked up at a time when one consciously was not even learning. So when we talk about our leadership journey, when we talk about, what are the qualities that are needed, I can tell you the one biggest quality that is needed for your success is do not compete with anyone else. Just look into the mirror and try to be a better version of yourself than yesterday. And if you set onto that path every single day, that if I was, let's say, point A to B in my journey, now today I'm going to be on point B to C, and then C to D, and D to E. And then within 26 days, you would have completed the set of alphabets. So what I'm trying to say here is be authentic, be in a zone of zero competition, because trust you me, each one of us has something unique from our journeys, from our stories, from the way we've been brought up, that can add value to any table in the boardroom. And third is that, be empathetic. As much as the world is moving towards AI and getting robotic, the only thing which is really precious and left with us today is our emotions. And make sure that we don't give that away to AI that soon. So ensure that you invest in people, invest time in people, interact with your faculty, interact with your friends, and build that human to human connect, even while you're leveraging the digital world.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, on behalf of IPM batch, ma'am, I would like to address the elephant in the room. As majority of this batch will be obviously freshers, as IPM students, the only work experience they would have is internships and live projects in their hands. So how should they make the most of the opportunity provided to them so that they can close the gap with other graduates in coming time?
One thing is, my friend, stop saying the word gap. There is no gap. This is a unique platform. You guys are in a unique space. Leverage the unique space that you're in. Now, when you're talking about how do you make the best of the times that you've been as an intern, vis-a-vis maybe some seasoned people who would have had some work X and then taken the course or whatever, start from the moment right here, you know, interact with each other, right? I don't honestly see any gaps when you talk about this batch. I feel that this batch probably has more privilege than anything that they lag behind on. Now, when it comes to, and if you just want to channelize a few thoughts, go back to your times of internship. You know, on a daily basis, we meet, and in today's time, we e-meet almost about 50 to 150 people on a daily basis without us even realizing. So when you do, so one is definitely go back to your times of internship and reconnect on a platform like LinkedIn with them. You know, start building relationships there, and then make sure that each one of you, if you haven't done so till now, go ahead, create a LinkedIn profile. Don't worry how shabby, how shoddy it is. Trust you me, in the universe of the masses of people that we have, right? In our own country, forget the globe. Nobody's going to notice what you're doing. But you will be noticed if you're consistent, persistent, and evolving. So start now. Don't shy away that my profile picture has to be perfect. I have to have a long list of tags behind me to create my LinkedIn profile and all of that. That's all frills, that's all jazz. Your consistency is what is going to build your individuality in a crowded market, and you will be able to leverage that. So don't hesitate and embrace your vulnerabilities, embrace your faults. I make mistakes on a daily basis. And trust you me, what I learned from those mistakes, I can never learn from anything else so profoundly. Right? So there ain't no gap. We're definitely walking away with this, that there's not any gap.
How do we ensure a balance between our work life, personal life, and education in this schedule? And how do we, prioritize them?
You took away my word, my dear friend. Prioritization is the key. You know, you have to put thought, energy, effort to understand what is need to, what is must to, what is should to be done in your task lists, right? So when you have to sit down and prioritize, your first priorities are going to be your need tos, that those are your survival skills, right? So anything that comes even close to survival has to be your need to and high on your prioritization list. Next comes, what is it must to do, right? Those are the things where you are supposed to kind of, let's say if you've been given a project and you have deadlines to it, or if you've been given something to research on, and maybe your results depend on that, or maybe your contribution towards the course. It's a two-way traffic. It's not just the course enriching you. You also, kind of have footprints on the course as well. So make sure you're giving it your 100%. And then comes should do and your wants, right? So if you have that hierarchy clear, that what has to be done in terms of survival, what has to be done in terms of must do's, what are the things that I should do, but I would be able to traverse through without addressing them right now. It's not a do or die. And then comes I want this, I want that. So there's a differentiation between need and want. While need tops the list, want comes lower, and your musts and your shoulds come in between. Prioritization is something which will enable you manage this fancy term of work-life balance. And let me also tell you that while doing that, very seldom would you ever reach a stage of balance. Sometimes your needs are going to take more weightage, and sometimes your must-dos may take more weightage. Sometimes your personal commitments may take more weightage. Sometimes you've got to just do the balancing act. You've got to ensure that you're the fulcrum of it, and an informed fulcrum. And You're juggling between that, but you are doing the balancing act. If you attain 100% balance, I'll be happy to take a session from you on it. You'd never be able, I haven't been able to attain 100% balance, but you can always work towards it basis how you prioritize what is important for you. And trust you.
About networking as undergraduate student with no experience. How should we go around networking with people in industry?
Lovely question. And takes me back about, I think about 16 years, 16 years, I think, when LinkedIn had just started, right? And again, from ground zero. Tell me how many of you are on Facebook? You can use those, what are those emojis, right? With our hands up, raised hands. How many of us are on Facebook or Insta or WhatsApp? Quick, your time starts now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can we take a screenshot of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me, how did this network happen? How did your FB happen? How did your WhatsApp happen? How did your Insta happen? Anybody? Anybody can unmute themselves and just answer that for me. How did that happen?
Actually, it was required at that moment. Like when we had groups in like class groups and the WhatsApp groups in which we discussed about our notes and all the things that we are going to do tomorrow or yesterday or the homeworks and stuff like that. So it was the need of that.
Are you sure you're only on academic WhatsApp groups?
Mostly yes. On a personal level, yes, with families or old friends, nothing much.
Okay, no, I don't want to drill deep into your WhatsApp chats, right? What I'm trying to say is that how did we, who taught us to download WhatsApp or a Facebook or an Insta? Who taught us to get onto it? It is our own will that, all right, this piece of technology has come and this piece of technology enables me to stay connected, right? Which is why if you go back to what I said, my dear friends, I said that make sure you invest in connections and not that much on network. So now look at your WhatsApp contacts itself. Try finding them on a platform which is a more professional platform, maybe on LinkedIn. I'll give you my LinkedIn ID. Start with my LinkedIn ID. Come start networking with me. Yeah? Begin there and then explore. LinkedIn is a fabulous platform of professional connects. You just put in a hashtag, and if you find articles based on that hashtag which resonate with you, there will be people tagged onto that article. Go ahead, send them a request. It's okay if out of a million, only 2 people accept your request, but you've networked then with 2 people. So don't think small. Don't think small of your own self. There is a beautiful quote by Rumi that I always quote in all my seminars almost, is that it's very seldom a drop in the ocean. It's always an ocean in a drop. Take yourself as that drop that is got all the elements of the ocean. Start from that space of owning yourself. Everybody started to take that first step. I wasn't 16 years ago or even today. I've not been an incarnation of God with whatever 11, 12,000 followers that I have on LinkedIn. I started with 0, right? But a few tips of that is you guys go ahead, create your LinkedIn profiles, send each other, LinkedIn requests, look at articles that resonate with you, find out the people that are tagged there, send them the request. And that's where, when I say that, use things to your privilege and advantage, you have the IIM, crown with you. Leverage it. People know that students in the IIM are of some caliber and metal. They will connect with you. Or you could just write to experts and say that, I really like the post that you write and I resonate and I'd like to learn from you. Can I please request you to join or accept my request? Simple. Just remove blockages from your own self. Don't put walls that are not supposed to be built in front of you. Right? So take baby steps. It's okay if people refuse, but like your WhatsApp, like your Instas, like your Facebook, you will see your professional network flourish as well. Just go out, and if it's important to you, you will make it happen. I know it. Start with me. I'm telling you, I can be the guinea pig. Start with me. I'm Dipika Trehan, Dipika Trehan. Send me a LinkedIn request, and I will accept all of your requests. I promise that. And then from there on, make it a habit. Set weekly targets that maybe I would, kind of reach out to 100 people, 50 people, 200 people. That's how you create your own database of network. And then comment on articles that are there on LinkedIn. Somebody appreciates your comment, and make sure these are all sensible things, right? We're not, so that's where the thin line between social media and professional media comes into place. Give inputs that are valid, that are valuable. And when people respond to you, that's where you connect, you actually convert a network into a connect. Right? And that's how you build a professional network. But you will find in the long run, you will be able to reach out to them as a connect for help, guidance, support, anything. And you'll be surprised there are fabulous people out there who do, give themselves out there for help, mentoring, and guidance.
This would have been one of the most immense, valuable advice from anyone. This batch will have got, ma'am. Thanks. We have.
You suggest us to vet our communication skill.
How do you suggest? Just be fearless of making mistakes. Just take away that fear of log kya kahenge. That's the worst syndrome that people can suffer from. Log kya kahenge. Log वैसे भी कहेंगे. Right? If you're sane, they will say you're too sane. If you're mad, they're going to say you're too mad. If you're in between, they're going to say you have no clarity. Right? So get away, get out of the zone of the fear of judgment. Log kya kahenge? Kehne do, kuch bhi kehne do. Your life story. You're okay. You should be okay to even, fall flat on your face in terms of failures or make yourself sound stupid, because whether anybody else learns it or not, and especially in a digital world, 1-2 din mein 24 hours, 48 hours, everybody forgets what you've done. It could be the biggest blunder. Unless, of course, you are, I don't want to take names, but actually even trolling for that matter can actually work to your advantage. You gain followers. Start seeing the positives in everything. Everything, start seeing the positives, start seeing how can I leverage it. Take out that fear of judgment, take out that fear of failure. Be absolutely open to just being yourself. Nobody would expect a grade 1 child to write an essay. So therefore, nobody will expect, students of your age to be professors. So you have all the more advantage of making mistakes and not being accountable for. Student hai, we are just grappling with finding our true north. Kar li gadbad, ho gaya, I'm sorry. Sorry is a lovely word in English language. Maximum delete. Maximum ko zyada piche pad gaya to block. You have the digital world to your advantage. I'm telling you, you guys are privileged, so much more privileged than what we had to struggle hard for our boss to even recognize what we've done or whatever. Today on LinkedIn, today on electronic channels, digital channels, you have your YouTubes, you have a passion towards a particular topic, start creating YouTube videos. All of that can be done. The world is your oyster. Trust you me. You have to leverage it. And anytime you make a mistake and you feel really bad about yourself, please send me a message and I'll be more than happy to just let you know that how your blunder has actually been your turning point. Right? So just believe in yourself. There is no better and more fierce power than believing in yourself.